wake up the next morning, then your batter's bat all day. And it's just so valuable from that point of view. Have another good night's sleep. You come to the ground this morning, you know you've got to bowl. You know you're going to bowl at some stage today on day 4, having not bowled since day 2. And you feel great about it. The thing is, you're not behind the game by any stretch. 14.
Interesting to keep an eye on Ben Stokes and his captaincy as well. I don't think he'll be worrying about runs. Captains would be a little bit defensive. What can we chase? 22 is the lead at the moment on this quick scoring ground. You can go at 5 and over, 6 and over tomorrow afternoon. And when will he use his spinner? New Zealand didn't use Bracewell till the 69th over, which I thought was a mistake. But while it continues to jag and seam, he won't be thinking about spin.
Those situations you'd normally see a token over of spin prior to lunch, which is about 20 minutes away. Where these two are going at the moment, possibly not.
The other great thing about the 40 minutes of play before lunch, you get 2 bites of the new cherry, really. Go hard for 40 minutes and then the ball is still relatively new after. A bit of a lunch and put your feet up, a shower, and you go again.
The odd one keeping down a little bit as well. It's the sort of thing I don't mind at all. It happens a little bit more often in New Zealand when you leave a lot of grass on the surface. The indentations do play a really big part. Sort of the seam just rips bits of grass out on day 1 and 2. By day 4 and 5 it can go up and down a little bit. Makes it tough for the batters, I get that, but it does. If the pitch is not going to turn a lot, then that's what comes into play and makes it a very good, interesting test match on day 4 and 5. Nicely driven and, well enough timed. Jack Leach with a chase, can't get there. Flip a boundary. Will Young's first, he's underway, 12 for 1.
इतना क्यूट है। उफ, फिर से सर पे खारिज। इसके सामने सर कैसे खो जाऊं? वो देखो।
क्या था वहाँ? इस शर्मिंदा कर देने वाली खारिश की वजह हो सकती है डैंड्रफ। नया हेड एंड शोल्डर्स नीम के साथ आया। हेड एंड शोल्डर्स नीम, ये डैंड्रफ से लड़े और सर की खारिश कम करे। कंधे से बोझ हटा दे। नया हेड एंड शोल्डर्स नीम।
जब डेटॉल एंटीसेप्टिक लिक्विड घर की हर बकेट का हिस्सा हो तो आप और आपका घर रहे महफूज और सबको बचाए 100 किस्म की बीमारियों वाले जरासीम से।
Test career, Joe Root and Ollie Pope, chief contributors for England.
Could have a similar situation to what happened here in 2004 between these two sides. England chasing 284 on the last day. Chased it down comfortably with a brilliant 100 from Graham Thorpe. What did they get in a day yesterday, Simon? 383.
Another inside edge.
Throwing it forward, obviously, New Zealand might just bat out and get 400, but it'd be an interesting test tomorrow. I mean, Stokes said before the series, draw. I don't do draws. They're 1-0 up in a 3-match series. Tomorrow, if they did have to chase 300, if New Zealand pulled out because they're 1-0 down and they need a win, dangle a carrot. How positive England will be, I reckon, with this management, they'll be very positive.
Just advances a little bit. Conway trying to take away some of that movement that Anderson is getting.
Played that shot a couple of times in the last series and found the man in the deep. That's why England have got their fine leg very square. It went straight to him, but along the ground. He played brilliantly in the last series here, but a couple of times he flicked that in the air. And that's why England have got their fine leg very square to him.
Just the one from the over, 13 for 1.
आज बहुत मजा आया।
अब शावर में और मजा आएगा क्योंकि सेफगार्ड का क्रीमी झाग एक्शन में आएगा।
सेफगार्ड का तहफ़्फ़ुज़ जब एक्शन दिखाए, स्ट्रेस को घंटों दूर भगाए।
सेफगार्ड से नहाना
जब दूर भगाना।
This summer, Amor लाया मजेदार क्रंची फ्लेवर से बना न्यू क्रंच कुल्फा, जिसका बचना मुश्किल ही नहीं नामुमकिन है. Now in freezers near you.
Broad around the wicket to the left-handed Conway. Third line for both he and Anderson to the left-handers. Well, to Stuart Broad a lot of success over the last few years in particular. Leg slip, man under the helmet, 3 slips and a gully. Very attacking. Oh, that's gone past the inside edge. Between bat and off stump.
It's a shame there's not more in today. Obviously a Monday and it's a work day. Just imagine Broad in a spell like this and the crowd getting behind him. There's a few in. It would have been great for England to have a packed Trent Bridge and Broad trying to get them going. It may well be Broad's last Trent Bridge Test match. He'll want them all behind him.
aerial, timed well enough for 4.
Still a pitch where it's coming onto the bats beautifully, so you get value for your shots. That's why I'm saying keep an eye on Stokes' captaincy, because he'll keep those catches in. He's a good player, this lad, Conway. I know I was in the air for quite some time, but he is a seriously good player.
Do you see anything in that technique, Nasser? Inside edges have been a huge part. We've got some numbers through from our CricViz guys. He doesn't very often get the outside edge. 84 inside edges, which is 90% of those edges. He gets outside the line more often. We talked about it last year as well, I think.
Yeah, I guess as a left-hander, you're always worried about the outside edge. Flirting outside that off-stump, left-handers seem to do that. He covers that. And that's why England have those men catching leg side to him. They got the short leg and the leg slip, because it could easily go off an inside edge onto a thigh pad or pad and go to back pad short leg. You don't often see that with England having a short leg in. If you're asking me which one would you rather have, a load of outside edges or inside edges, you know the answer.
He's got a good inside thigh protector, you're fine. $17 for 1.
रमशा लंच फिर से
मतलब डैंड्रफ वापस?
फिर से दाल चावल।
डैंड्रफ वापस आने का डर?
कल ही तो शैम्पू किया था।
तो शैम्पू बदलो और ले आओ हेड एंड शोल्डर्स। इसका बाकायदा इस्तेमाल करें खुश्की के जर्म्स पर असर 100% तक खुश्की मिटाए और लौटने से रोके, कंधे से बोझ हटा दे। हेड एंड शोल्डर्स।
तारीख का सबसे ताकतवर एरियल ब्लू फार्मूले के साथ तो बनाओ कॉलर्स पे दागों की दीवार, जमेगा धूल, मिट्टी और पसीना, तो हो जाए मुकाबला नए एरियल से,
जिसके नीले जर्रात कॉलर्स पे जमे दागों की हर दीवार गिराए और दे चमकदार सफाई।
Captain Hussain over a spin before lunch. Keep Broad going.
I reckon just one over a spin. Leach or Root, not bothered. Right-hander on strike, maybe Root. It goes completely opposite to what you would do in one-day cricket, but with all those follow-through marks outside the off-stump of the off-spin. Left-hander on strike. I might actually go Leach spinning it in from the rough. Stokes bowled Leach quite a bit in the first innings when it wasn't spinning much, so he backed him. And just a spinner who hasn't bowled a lot in the last couple of years in international cricket, you just want to get him into the game, just to tell him that we back you. And this afternoon's going to be a big afternoon for you when it does stop seaming. That's what you're in the side for, basically. Second innings in England, very rarely in the first innings in England a spinner does much. Second innings, over to you.
Little shoulder of the bat, that one. Squared him up. Looped away over the slips. It'll be checked. Not sure whether the shoulder arm of Joe Root was touching that advertising triangle, the cushion, as he flicked the ball back or not. We'll have a look. Done very well, Joe Root.
He won't run there because there was no shot played. So you don't get the run. If it was evasive action, if it was a bouncer and he was ducking and it hit the shoulder or something, then you could run for evasive action. Bit of bounce there from Anderson, wasn't it? Top edge turned Conway into an S, turned him around the shoulder of the bat. It's a real effort, this, from Anderson. He's steaming in, he's hitting that deck hard, trying to hit a few of those grooves. Good bounce. Think of the way Bolt bowled this morning, full and swinging. Anderson at the moment hitting the deck hard.
Again. Into that hip region. Conway picks up a single. 21 for 1.
तारीख का सबसे ताकतवर एरियल ब्लू फार्मूले के साथ तो बनाओ कॉलर्स पे दागों की दीवार जमेगा धूल मिट्टी और पसीना तो हो जाए मुकाबला नए एरियल से
जिसके नीले जर्रात कॉलर्स पे जमे दागों की हर दीवार गिराए और दे चमकदार सफाई।
रमशा लंच फिर से
मतलब डैंड्रफ वापस?
फिर से दाल चावल। डैंड्रफ वापस आने का डर।
कल ही तो शैम्पू किया था।
तो शैम्पू बदलो और ले आओ हेड एंड शोल्डर्स। इसका बाकायदा इस्तेमाल करें खुश्की के जर्म्स पर असर 100% तक खुश्की मिटाए और लौटने से रोके कंधे से बोझ हटा दे। हेड शोल्डर्स।
Considering a day 4 pitch approaching lunchtime, the carry and bounce is still there. Mike Atherton speaking at the cart this morning about how impressed he's been with this surface. Spot on. It's something that Rob Key's trying to get into county pitches a bit more. Everyone talking about the sideways movement. It's more also the pace. In some slow, low pitches, get that pace, try and keep that pace. That's what this Trent Bridge pitch has provided for 4 days. Does need to spin though if it's like this. It does. For the sake of English cricket, you do need to have a pitch by day 4, day 5 that offers your spinner something, otherwise you're just carrying a cricketer. Don't think that's going to be the case the day and a half, as I say. Leach and Root, and then Bracewell maybe tomorrow will have a role to play.
Some encouragement with the new ball. Seam movement for both Broad and Anderson. Nipping back, nipping away. Average seam movement the first 10 overs. Seeing a lot more so far this morning. Is that the lights? Is it the indentations? Why?
Well, we're sending our pitch expert out at lunch, Mark Butcher. He's going to go out at lunch and see if he can see anything out there.
Drives nicely. No need to run for that, Devon Conway.
25 for 1. The on drive was in.
अब लगेगा सिर्फ एक 3 से बेहतरीन नया एरियल बीस,
जिसमें है 3 10 वाले सैशों के बराबर पाउडर, यानी 10 रुपए की बचत। अब से
3 से बेहतरीन एक एरियल बीस।
जब डेटॉल एंटीसेप्टिक लिक्विड घर की हर बकेट का हिस्सा हो तो आप और आपका घर रहे महफूज और सबको बचाए 100 किस्म की बीमारियों वाले जरासीम से।
Would you say it's a big day for Will Young, would you, with maybe Kane Williamson coming back in the side? Latham's not going to go out. Conway may go up to open. Williamson could slot back in at 3. How else are you going to get Williamson in unless you change the balance of your side for Headingley? Potts into the attack.
Yeah, spot on. They'll be without Kyle Jamieson, so they worry about their batting a little bit, but I would imagine that Neil Wagner just has to come back in. They've missed him dearly, I think, in this test match in particular. Will Young would be the obvious choice. You cannot drop Daryl Mitchell now. That is impossible. He has secured that spot. Conway to the top with Latham, so the 2 left-handers. Williamson at 3, Nicholls and Mitchell. Blundell and Bracewell. I think Michael Bracewell's done enough to keep his spot as well, so big day for Will Young. Everyone started the tour with an excess of players. They'd obviously brought Hamish Rutherford back into the squad for this test match, who's an opening batter. They've got Rachin Ravindra, who started the tour in the touring party. He played the warm-up game down at Essex. He's picked up a double 100 for Durham today. Bowls a little bit of spin and a very talented batter. Round the wicket and a very straight short mid on.
Yeah, there was that on drive on the up, wasn't there, that went in the air for a while. Still that man out in the deep backward square leg. You'd think he's on the hook out there. He's actually for the flick. Expected to be straight from Potts. There he is in the deep.
Easy one. Just squares him up a little bit last ball before the lunch break. England have picked up 1. New Zealand have increased their lead by 27 to 41.
Well, that's all you could ask of your faster bowlers. Go hard in that 40 minutes, and that's exactly what they did. Anderson and Broad, excellent. Really threatening on a flat pitch. They got more movement in that 10 overs than we've seen in the whole test. They got the 1 wicket. Conway's played well for 17. Young's there for 6. And New Zealand lead by 41.
Good morning of Test match cricket. 6 wickets have fallen. England were aggressive with the bat early on, particularly Folkes and Root. I'm pretty happy with the way things are proceeding at the moment. New Zealand, though, just the loss of 1 wicket to an absolute beauty from James Anderson. Their skipper has gone. Tom Latham out, left one alone, and was bowled by James Anderson. Young 6 and Conway not out 17.
Excellent from the 2 veterans there. Just the 1 over for Potts before lunch, but Broad could have had a 1 or 2, 0 for 12. Anderson with 1, his 650th test wicket, only the first seamer to reach that milestone. Very good.
553 New Zealand. England bowled out this morning for 539, and New Zealand 27 for 1 now lead by 41. It has been a terrific 4th morning of this 2nd test.
मुस्तकिल दर्द की वजह से आपका पूरा दिन खराब हो सकता है। ऐसे में मैं आपको नई पैनाडोल एक्सटेंड के इस्तेमाल का मशवरा देता हूं। इसमें है खास बाय लेयर टेक्नोलॉजी, जिसकी एक तह फौरी हल होकर दे जल्द आराम, जबकि दूसरी तह आहिस्ता आहिस्ता घुलकर 8 घंटों तक असर रखे बरकरार, ताकि आप रोजमर्रा के कामों को जारी रख सकें। इसलिए देर पर आराम के लिए नई पैनाडोल एक्सटेंड पर मेरा भरोसा है।
तमाम दवाएं बच्चों की पहुंच से दूर रखें। खुराक लेवल पे दी गई हिदायत के मुताबिक इस्तेमाल करें। तबीयत ज्यादा खराब हो तो डॉक्टर से रुजू करें। हाई ब्लड प्रेशर और अमराज़ जिगर के मरीज डॉक्टर के मशवरे से इस्तेमाल करें।
This summer, Amor लाया मजेदार क्रंची फ्लेवर से बना न्यू क्रंच कुल्फा, जिसका बचना मुश्किल ही नहीं नामुमकिन है। Now in freezers near you.
फाइनली हमारी अपनी बुटीक की लॉन्च है। ओनली 14 डेज लेफ्ट। लॉन्च वाले दिन मेरे कपड़े भी परफेक्ट, मेरी मॉडल भी परफेक्ट और डिजाइनर हेयर फॉल का शिकार।
सिंपल, मॉडल वाले बालों के लिए मॉडल वाला शैम्पू। फॉर हेयर फॉल पैंटीन इज माय चॉइस।
इसमें फर्मेंटेड राइस वाटर और प्रो विटामिन